What is going on, guys? Judo Sloth here, and we have a very exciting 5v5 war for you today. World Champion second place MCES are going to be coming up against the Italian newcomers of MNG eSports. I'm joined by my good friend and fantastic host, Time to Clash.
I'm delighted to be here. Two brilliant clans, obviously one of them vastly experienced, very famous, one of them just creeping up that way, one of them with a little bit more work to do, but obviously becoming more and more established, and this is the perfect test for them.
You'll get to see every single attack here, and we are in the newcomer for MCES. Venom is on defense, and it is Hawk of MNG coming in with a hybrid Hog Rider and Miner attack. Kick us off here, Adam.
Oh, absolutely. But first of all, I want you to dead quickly give me a prediction. I want to have a bit of fun with this one. Go on, man. Put your neck on your line. What do you think? I'll start first. I'm generous. But I do think that as good as MNG are, I think MCS are just going to have that advantage. I'm going 13-11 to MCES.
Oh, generous. I mean, we have to go with MCES. They came second in the World Championships. We know the quality of them. I'm actually going to say 14 for MCES, so I'm really putting my neck out there. And I'm going to say 12 for MNG. I do think that we're going to see a high-performing war here. MNG start taking out the triple ice golem, something that we're seeing across the clan castles all of the time now. And the funnel gets set up beautifully on that left-hand side for the queen to jump through towards the multi-inferno.
One of the things I loved about that as well, I mean, he had the ground expo on the queen, so he's pretty confident his healers wouldn't switch, but as his king tried to hook back inside, pop the ability early to get that king out of the way. You don't want your king too close to your queen, otherwise the healers can switch, and then all kinds of things go wrong, and it's just a smart play there by Hawk. Very good understanding of what was happening on that raid.
Totally, and notice that the miners come in first. They can get onto the town hall, they can take that down, and they will get under that gigabomb. But because the Hog Riders are faster, it means everything is inside that Grand Warden's ability. The Queen was very nicely tanking the scatter shot. Didn't even need to take it down, although she did. She was tanking it for the Hogs and miners to come through, and I love the reinforcement Hogs coming out of the siege barracks. This is looking good, Adam, although the Queen does go down.
Really nice job on the side there. I love that. I agree with you. The Royal Champion with the Hogs going up the side, keeping his miners nice and honest in the middle, looking very good. Doesn't have the Queen, but doesn't feel to have lost much of the hybrid. Looking good as he rounds the top. However, this is where it gets dangerous. Last healer's gone, but he does have that Royal Champion ability.
Yes, and I think the Royal Champion ability will be helpful. Wipes out a few defenses. Miners all the way across to the western side of the base. 45 seconds left. Hawk shows us that MNG mean business, Adam, with a massive 3-star to kick us off.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, my prediction, not looking as good right now, but congratulations to Hawk. Man, if they're attacking like this could be a very high-scoring war. MNG firing out of the blocks there. He couldn't get a better start.
MCES are on the back pedal, but they have been in that situation. Areum it is to fight back, going with the miners himself. I honestly feel like the miners are underrated. I feel like they're very strong at Town Hall 13. You've just seen the variation with the Hog Riders, but can Areum come in with a full-blown Queen Charge miner to fight back?
Yeah, interesting he's got the siege barracks as well, though. What is going to be in there? Because there's a very real chance he might just have 9 Hogs in there. Again, doing a similar setup to the previous attack where the Hogs might be used on a flank. Always exciting to see the combinations of what the players can put together, especially with the siege weapons.
Definitely, and I do like to see that siege barracks. It's one of them siege machines that, when it first was introduced, people just kind of thought it's not going to be relevant, but actually we see it time and time again, setting the funnel, delaying the troops that are inside it. It just works really well. We do see the triple ice golem again. That is most definitely, in my opinion, the strongest clan castle that you can be using to defend your base, but the Queen gets through that and unfortunately loses a healer from over next to the town hall.
Yeah, 1 black mine, 1 healer. It's painful, but at the same time, I think you'll be quite happy with how this has gone. The king has cleared enough of the funnel. The queen has done a good job. And yeah, now the healers are starting to take some damage.
Miners split here.
Yeah.
Miners split though, Adam. That could be costly.
Very costly, because those miners were meant to be more central, so that way the siege barracks and the Hogs could clear that side. doesn't want all those miners over there. It's a momentum thing. Once you lose some of your numbers, it takes a lot longer to get a defense down, and it cycles very quickly into a fail. It's a little bit lucky, though, in that the miners have now come back to the middle. If they'd have gone further south, this was already over.
It was, and the miners took a big, huge bit of damage from the scatter shot, but they do manage to get back inside that heal spell into the center of the base, and what was looking like a nightmare for Areum, he's managed to spin this around. He's quickly onto the multis. This could be better than he once thought. I'm not sure he's going to get that 3 with the scatter shot, but definitely a better percentage than I would have thought.
Yeah, definitely. It could have been a lot worse. And that's one of the things about all of these pro players is how quickly they adapt. As soon as they realise it's not going to free, and you saw what Areum did there, getting the heals down early. He knew he wasn't going to need a heal for the back end because he was never going to get there. So he healed up early, spammed the heals, really went heavy with the heals, and that allows him to get a quite respectable 79%. Considering how that started, that is a really good recovery.
We're back across to MNG, the Slayer, using the Yetis. Now, this is a troop which has been used very frequently, shall we say, Adam, and I've been surprised not to see it within the first 2 attacks, but here it is, the Grand Warden Walk into the Yetis. What's your opinion on this strategy at the moment?
I mean, this is, without a doubt, it's the strongest strategy, and it's the strategy that perhaps doesn't require quite as much perfection or quite as much careful planning as some of the others. It's a little bit overpowered, let's be real about it, but if you're a good player, you've got to use it. You've just got to be smart. However, the good players are a level above, and they're already thinking we have to defend against Yetis, and that's what makes this attack interesting, because he's got 7 hogs as well. Is that because the MCES guys have been trying to defend against the Yetis, and he's having to mix it up just a little bit to keep it real, to get that triple done?
Well, I love the position of the scatter shot, like you said, trying to defend specifically against Yetis, and I do feel like that's why all of that damage is in there with the Town Hall. Try and just wipe them out as quickly as possible, and he's used a lot of spells here. He's got nothing left moving to the back end of the base. Yeah. Like we mentioned in that previous attack, he's just put everything in, because he was struggling, panicking, and the 3 stars, well, it's not looking as clear-cut right now.
Yeah, he definitely went heavy at the start of the base. However, the base, like you said, the defenses were at the beginning of the base. It's one of those things where you've got to give what it takes you. If it's heavy at the start, you go heavy at the start, which is what he's done. The question is now, can he get through? And you've seen there 9 hogs on the flank. With the 7 he brought, 16 hogs. They do make a good push there. They do get that 10 o'clock compartment down with the Royal Champion. But now we've got to get through these walls quickly and get into these backside defenses.
Giant bombs did a number on the Yetis there, but this is where the strategy really is just safe, in my opinion. He managed to push through that initial section, and as long as the healers stay on the Yetis, it looks like it's going to be another 3, Adam. MNG coming out swinging, showing us what they mean. Get some hype for them in the chat. Wow. Turned that attack around pretty quickly. My opinion is all because of the healers. Massive GG to them for keeping them Yeti alive.
Yeah, absolutely there. The healers were superb. I mean, you've got to give him credit as well for the funnel. He kept everything right in the middle. And that is the big key to these Yetis. If they're right in the middle of the base with the healers, I mean, they can get the job done. If they had any doubts as to how good MG are, if we had any doubts, all of that has been dispelled immediately. And now MCES have got a real fight on their hands.
They do, and they're opting for the Queen charge into Dragons. I do note a couple of ground expos, which is often used due to that Yeti meta, if you will, and it often opens up the doors for the Dragons, especially when you can easily get to a couple of air defense. The Queen is going to pick off this first one nice and easy, get over to that Town Hall, but again, the triple ice golems aiming to slow down the Archer Queen.
Yeah, but he's done a brilliant job here because he's got a very good angle in. Yes, he's 1 scatter shot, 1 expo on. That's not really too serious, especially with the rage down as well. So he's got that CC pretty comfortably dealt with. And yeah, like you said, 3 ground expos opens up the air, and then you have a choice to make. If you can get the scatter shots early, it is still possible to use the Lalo attack. If you can't get the scatter shots, that's when the Dragons come in, because the Dragons not as badly affected as the Loons by the scatter shot, and that's the kind of thought process that they go to make this attack work.
Exactly, and a little bit easier to control, you could argue, especially if you can get a beautiful funnel as has been created here. As the king finally goes down to the south of the base, the stone slammer helps to set up that funnel even further with that baby dragon, and now come the regular dragons straight into the base. They've got a clear path now to that eagle artillery and the back end.
Yeah, I love what he did there with the slammer, just clearing just a small, very small area, but it gives him so much better pathing, so much better funneling for those dragons. And again, it's just brilliant planning. The queen charge is superb. I mean, that queen charge has taken down so much, but that little slammer bit, that is probably part that people might not see. But that slammer just going in slightly earlier is a huge factor for this one. If that queen can get to that final air defense, surely we're looking at a triple.
I think it is almost guaranteed to be a triple at this stage. MCES fighting back. Yes, the base wasn't fully upgraded, but you've got to admit, with all of these dragons, I don't even think we need to count them. There's too many left. They have wiped out this base, a 3-star for MCES, and they fight back. Now, can they keep that momentum and help me with my 14-12 prediction?
That was a phenomenal attack. If you're looking to use dragons, Queen Charge dragons at Town Hall 13, you won't see something much better executed than that. That was as good as it gets. And bear in mind, all of these hits in this format are fresh hits.
It's not over, but MNG, they have got that momentum, and they're in again. Prometheus coming with the Yeti. Can they make it back-to-back Yeti 3-star attacks? Where's he coming from here? Interesting to start with the P.E.K.K.A. in order to create the funnel, but there's not a huge difficulty in the funnel on this one. It's pretty straightforward to get it set up left and right, and we can see clearly where he's coming in next to that town hall.
Yeah, fascinating the way to do this one. Obviously, Warden Walk, very much the most common way. Queen Walk, probably the second most common. And he is ultimately going for a Queen Walk here. Does he want his Queen to go that way? I'm sure he doesn't, though.
I don't think he does. I'm pretty sure that's why the P.E.K.K.A. was there. So the Queen is going that way, and the healers are stuck inside that multi-inferno for quite some time now as well, because he can't reach across. Does he swap to the Slammer here? Does he send the Royal Champion in? He's got to do something, because the Queen is not going to last very long if them healers go down.
Interestingly, he's gone for the siege barracks on the top side. Now, if he's got hogs in there, those hogs are surely going to get too far ahead of him here. He's trying his best to attack, but I mean, you can see, one multi is painful for the healers, 2 multis is insane. Down they go, and obviously now it's damage reduction. We aren't going to triple here. What can we get? How much can we push?
That's exactly what he needs to do, and it's, as we were mentioning earlier, it's all about now just putting things in early. He doesn't need to be saving spells for the back end of the base, it's just maximizing percentage. Get that 2-star and as much as you can from there. In the single attack formats, the 2 has to be gotten. He doesn't have to worry about that now, but it's all about that percentage. He's struggling getting through the ice golems with no healers though, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. It slowed down a lot going through the town hall, which he would have expected, but he expected to have 4 or 5 healers there boosting through, and he doesn't. Those hogs on the outside get very little because they were ahead of the raid, which means they're taking all the point defense damage. It's not what hogs are good at in this raid. They are meant to be sort of tanked for in the middle. So a couple of things didn't go his way there. Nevertheless, he's got a 2-star. Got to give him credit for that. And he's going to get somewhere around, I think, about 65 mark. Well, not much more. Again, this raid, you don't bring much cleanup. And with those outside archer towers, he doesn't have many options to snipe the buildings.
Not many options at all, but the interesting thing for me here is what started as an incredible MNG war, and it was very much in their favour. Now if MCES get the triple, which we know they're more than capable of getting, they take the lead. Because they will, well, actually they won't have the percentage. He has managed to rack that up to 70% amazingly, but still, MCES, they're clapping their hands right now because they are now back in this war. Yeah, have you heard of Trihard before, Adam? He's not that bad of a player.
Yeah, he's not bad. I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Wow.
If he was on the winning team at the World Championship, I think he would have been the MVP. I do think that being on the winning side always helps you in the MVP voting, but he was right up there. There's no doubt one of the best players out there at the World Championships, and if you wanted a guy for MCS to get you right back in the game, this is your man.
Well, he tripled just about all of the start rounds on that World Championships, but we did clarify there that if he triples here, they move back into the lead, and MNG, despite that awesome start, have then Gotta fight back. Love the use of them wall breakers just to sneak in under the scatter shot and give his queen access to all of the defenses and the town hall.
And this is one of the difference between the good players and the great players. The great players are always looking, can we use wall breakers? We don't need a jump. Ideally, we don't need a quake. Save those spell spaces and use the wall breakers. And he does a superb job of that, doubling up with the rage. So that way he can be sure he gets that second wall breakdown. It's brilliant stuff. It really is. We love seeing it. We never tire of it.
Enemy queen goes down, steps forward to that town hall. You've got to admit, Adam, this is a pretty epic queen charge, setting up the pathing for the hogs. But with so much more splash damage, I feel like that is what you've got to do. You've got to have that huge queen charge or kill squad. Just about going to get the town hall here with that queen's ability. Hog Rider's already in, trying to get to that eagle artillery as fast as possible. Uses the heal relatively early after the Grand Warden's ability. You are caught in the tornado trap now.
Yeah, I think one of his big choices there was how quickly to get the early ability or the early heals down. And on those wide entries, you have to go quite early. If those hogs take a lot of damage on the way in, you can mess up the raid before you even get into the base. And obviously, again, very good recognition. He knows he needs one heal to get into the back end. There it is, it's down. Bear in mind, he's still got that Warden helping out, boosting those hit points. And those hogs are just rolling through. Surely we're back on here. Surely we're back tied up.
Surely we are. We've got a couple of defenses, but nothing that these Hog Riders can't deal with, especially with a healer or two helping. Well, I say that. They switch to the Wizard just for one quick boost, then back to the Hog Riders. He's got the Wizards around the base cleaning up. It is going to be a triple for Trihard, and that will move MCES into the lead. What a war we have on our hands.
How do you go 6-2 down after the second attack for MNG and then 8 and ahead on percentage? It shows how quickly these things can change, and you've got to say these last two hits absolutely superb by MCS. You were right, not only a great queen charge, but the way he used the king as well to tidy everything up around there, keep that queen where he wanted. Again, it's as good as it gets.
It is I Love You who is trying to wipe out Areum with the Hog Riders. Does have a couple of miners, assumably for cleanup more than anything else, but let's see how he comes about this one, starting off with a Wizard at the north of the base. Queen charge will more than likely come in towards the town hall and try and get that first scatter shot, CC an enemy queen, and here she starts from the 10 o'clock section.
No messing about with this one. Potions used, heroes boosted, troops boosted. This is real now. 8 all. They know they need every... Yeah.
Everything, but the Royal Champion is only level 13. Oh, a Wallbreaker fatal there could be massive on this one, because he's now only going to get one layer in. Has to use that rage to try and help. Does get that one layer, but definitely not what he needed there. And the Queen has started to walk to that outside. I'm not sure she's going to get that scatter shot. The healers get wiped out. Wow, this is going horribly wrong for MNG.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those where everything has started to go wrong. The Wallbreaker failed. The Queen then going around the outside of the Wallbreaker in rage to try and recover it. Couldn't recover it enough. The Queen had to use ability. The healers dropped. Literally everything went wrong in the space of 20 seconds there, or even less. And now it's recovery mode. Get to 10 stars. Try and get the percentage that you can. Keep your clan in the game here. MCS, cool as can be. First attack didn't go their way. Second two did. Now they've got two defenses back to back as well. And now they're looking really, really good as they'll be going into their fourth attack, knowing that any triple puts them a mile ahead. Even a good percentage 2-star will increase that lead as well.
Oh, you've got to feel for them. That Stone Slammer moved right the way around the town hall. Has to send the Hog Riders in. They do get it, but he's nowhere near the 50% at the moment. He's still got 10% to get. Plenty of Hog Riders. Flies the spells in, trying to get anything he can. He is going to get it, but it's not a good percentage, and it just solidifies MCES's lead at this point.
No, one smart thing though he did is he did use a Royal Champion on that bottom side. He saw very few defences, and he knew that he could open up quite a lot of trash buildings, quite a lot of percentage with that. And also the Hogs went that way as well, so he was able to use a little bit of skill there to make sure he adds something to the percentage. Could easily have been less, but he's going to get over that 60 mark But as we know, I mean, at this level, we're looking at 80s. 80 is probably the cut-off mark. So obviously a big defence there for Areum of MCES. He'll be as happy as can be with that. And MCES know that the ball is well and truly in their court now. A triple here, and they almost finish the war. A big double here, and they'll go into that 5th attack with a massive advantage.
Well, the confidence has to be in their favour. Oh, you've got to give it to attackers who can recover under pressure as well. Some people underestimate how hard that can be. It is. We do get to see nothing but end-to-end stuff. Cynthia of MCES coming in with his lavaloon attack. He's been one of them players that was known for his hog rider attacks, but I've seen him up in Legends League using lavaloon quite a lot, and let me tell you, he's a fantastic lavaloon player as well. Has that clone spell in order to help out with this one, and I love to see the variety within this war as well.
Fascinating stuff. I mean, we were saying it is a ground meta. It's a yeti meta, if anything. And then out we come here with the Lalo. 3 ground X. You understand why he's looking at this one. Plus, he can get the Town Hall on the outside. And what this does, the real strength of this, is it means he can use his Warden Tome over the top of at least one of the scatter shots as well. And obviously that negates it. So it's a very good recognition of the base. But nevertheless, it's a challenge to get this Lalo around these big Town Hall 13 defenses. It's not easy to Lalo at the minute.
It's not. He has taken out a lot of the major defences. The Queen is gone. The Town Hall is gone. Again, this is not a maxed out base, but you've got to say that Cynthia is pretty happy with the start of this, using that Ice Golem and the Royal Champion down to the bottom, so he's going to try and wipe out a lot of splash here as well. Got to be happy with the start of this Lalo attack.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love what he's done with this Royal Champion. It isn't just to get the air defense, doubling it with a funnel, so that way you can get the slammer into that beautiful area there with the scatter shot and the multi-inferno. They do barely any damage to the slammer, but they do huge damage to loons. This is brilliant base identification. I kind of want him to get it now, because this is just such a good setup.
It is, and look at all of the spells that he has left. Still has that clone spell as well, which he's more than likely going to use just right over the centre of the base. In fact, it was just changing into a plan B here. He's got that E-Drag. I don't think he expected to get the Queen with that initial push, so he's able to use the clone onto the balloons to give him an overwhelming force to the back end, and it is most certainly another triple for MCES, showing us why they mean business for Town Hall 13, Adam.
That's a phenomenal hit, Judo. It really is. I hope Supercell don't watch this. The ever earth ground. That just, wow, we're talking about air really struggling. Anybody who watches that's going to be like, what are these guys talking about? This is incredible for air. But obviously, I mean, that was so much of that was base identification. Like you said, he did get, I'm not going to say lucky, but it helped him that he got the Queen on the entry as well. It gave him even more options. Well, that really is, we talk about the last raid where everything went wrong. Truly, that's the polar opposite, everything going right.
MNG are giving it what they've got, Adam. They've got the potion used, ready to go. If they get the 3 stars here, it means that MCES do need to perform, but let's have a look. The Queen charge into Hog Riders, not one of the strategies that we've seen massive success with at Town Hall 13, although we have seen it even within this war, starting out with the Queen walk to the 7 o'clock area and using that King to funnel, nicely gets a wall break to open up the multi-inferno.
And I like the way they hear that if the Queen does go back to the multi, which she should, the healers might just be out of range. No, they do just go into it, drops that rage down. Skelly's slowing down a little bit, but again, he got that rage down very early. He was ready for it. Ooh, wow, he even managed to sneak the wall breakers in over a giant bomb and into a multi. Nicely done.
Nicely done. I thought the Queen was going to take the multi first, but managed to get it through with that giant bomb, as you mentioned. Gets the next layer broken, but I do think he wanted the layer up towards the Eagle. Not going to complain though, the Queen can still reach it from this angle and get huge value for MNG.
And that worked out quite nicely as well. The King just got to the Queen before the Ice Golems. It was the other way around. Obviously, that King would do some pretty serious damage there, and he might have had to use the ability. But with that early rage, 1 X-Ball, not really enough to damage the Queen, even with the Ice Golems. So now he can quite smoothly step forward. And obviously, this little pause for the Ice Golems gives us a bit of time to talk while the Ice Golems go down.
It does, and he uses that rage nice and early, knowing that he's going to get in range of a couple of expos. I do think it was maybe a little bit early, if I'm honest, but solidifies the queen getting through that area and keeping onto the ability. What do you think, Adam? Rage there or no rage there?
I think he hoped that the queen would stay inside, and even if the rage was still there, she would then beat the wall a bit quicker. She hasn't, fortunately, though. And obviously, that, it is an error, no doubt. And what he was thinking. The hard part of this raid is he's had to go wide with the hogs, and because that he's pathed away from the town hall, taking a lot of damage. This is a tough start for these hogs.
Oh, tough start indeed. They do get through that scatter shot. They're just going to get through the town hall, but from here, it's a tough back end of the base. It's definitely not the 3-star scatter shot, showing the damage that it can do. Just wiping out them hog riders pretty quick, and from a beautiful queen charge start, she then just got stuck on walls, unfortunately, and wasn't quite able to help the hog riders out.
And it goes exactly back to what you said. If he had have got that wall break compartment, this was very different. It's not necessarily that the queen had to take down the scatter shot. She just had to tank it and allow the hogs to get there. And we all talk about, scatter shot hurting loons, but if it hits miners or hogs without a heal, it is lethal, and we saw that there. Big groups of hogs getting taken down. They struggled on the way in anyway, and once that scatter shot engaged, it was RIP to them. Let's be real about it. It's RIP for the war. However, there is a prediction still on the line, and that's what the big talk is about now. Judo, how do you feel?
Well, I just plucked it out of thin air, 14-12, and what do you know, if MCES get this one in terms of the 3-star, then it is on, and it is none other than Hugo Stiglitz.
But the top and bottom of it is, I thought Hugo had the best attack out there. I thought he was superb. And so, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, if you somebody to make you right, Hugo's definitely a good shout there, and he started off with the wall break here. Queen just bounces back, a little bit scary. But the wall, oh, never. He's hit 6 walls and not one of them's gone.
Exactly, the king is popping the ability, does run around, the barbarians get through, which might be a little bit of a saviour, but the queen trying to save onto that ability to get through the enemy queen, definitely not the start that Hugo Stiglitz needed. He is going to get this enemy queen, but it is a just mind, and that could be the saviour. Can he still get it done?
I still think he can get it done. You're right. It was ridiculously close. Barbarian wall breakers. What's that all about? But they did get through. And he was so brave with the ability. She had no health. He waited as long as possible. And he's able to get the multi and the queen. So all goals achieved, albeit in the scariest way possible. And now here we go.
Now an interesting topic here. The town hall goes down. It's looking good through the base. Did he use the queen's ability how he did, very taking the risk because of that automatic ability, or would he have pressed it worried that the automatic ability had gone off? I think he took the risk because he knew he wasn't going to miss it.
Yeah, good question. Very good question there. I'm just watching these dragons for a second, though, because as you can see, he used dragons to get the multi-inferno, but the dragons pathed away from it. It was a brilliant idea. Now the question is, can something get through for that scatter shot? Weak dragons, obviously loons, all of them terrible against the scatter shot. The warden had no health either. I think that scatter shot's going to be MVP.
Come on, get it down! Oh, he used the haste. It's turned around. He's gonna get it, but does he have enough to clean up the base? He's gonna do it! Wow! Absolutely insane finish. That scatter shot didn't know what to do. It was turning at each of the loons. A brilliant start. The Lalo worked well, but did get a bit fortunate towards the end there.
You've got to give Hugo credit, though, because he put those loons in on the backside on purpose to distract. He knew that if one of those loons could get inside minimum range, he could finish it off. He managed to get 2 in the end, but that wasn't there. That wasn't random. He put those loons in on that side on purpose, split them on purpose to split the scatter shot's fire, and 2 of the loons made it. It was incredibly close, but Hugo, yet again, showing how competent he is during the raid. A lot of things went wrong for him there. The Slammer and the Dragons didn't get to the multi. Obviously, that scatter shot caused huge damage, and he managed to keep his cool. That was after the Queen, after the wall break. He's ice cold. He's absolutely ice cold.
Incredible is an understatement. I mean, so many parts of that attack were right on the edge. As we mentioned, the Queen and the ability, the Lalo was phenomenal. And then, I mean, the balloons at the end, I couldn't have summed it up better myself, Adam. Just incredible skill to time them the way he did. 14-12, MCES do indeed get the victory. What's your thoughts at the end of that, Adam?
Man, that was phenomenal. Now, first of all, we've got to shout out MNG. They kept firing. They did exactly what they needed to do. Got 6 stars in their first 2 attacks. Not just 6 stars, but 2 very solid attacks. Really set a standard as to what they could achieve. However, MCS, I mean, you just can't write against them. I've got to, like I said, shout out to MNG. I thought they performed really well. Certainly that start, they definitely showed what they can do. But you've got to say, if you're looking at the war as a whole, MCS reminding us just how damn good they are. And like you said, 2 stars on that first hit. You still back them for 14, and they still got it.
Incredible stuff. They really showed their diversity in that one, their tremendous skill level, their cool and being calm under pressure. Just brilliant from start to finish. Fantastic war. Thank you to the EWU for putting this on. Thank you to the clans, and thank you to you, Adam, for joining me